Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts in their Week 4 matchup played October 4, 2015. We're going to go over the scores, we're going to go over the stats, and we're going to give our breakdown and analysis. The Colts were without Andrew Luck, and so Matt Hasselbeck would be behind center. So in the first quarter, with about 5 minutes still left in the first, Adam Vinatieri hit a 54-yard field goal to put the first points on the scoreboard with the score Colts 3, Jags 0. Myers would kick a field goal for Jacksonville with a little less than 3 minutes still left in the first to tie this game up at 3 apiece, and that would be the score after 1 quarter of play. Then in the second quarter, about 3.5 minutes in, Blake Bortles threw an 8-yard touchdown pass to Allen Hurns. Myers added the extra point, and the Jags were up by 7 with the score Jacksonville 10, Indianapolis 3. Then with about 6 minutes left before halftime, Matt Hasselbeck hit Coby Fleener for a 2-yard touchdown. Vinatieri hit the extra point, and this game was tied up at 10 apiece. But then in the final seconds of the first half, Josh Myers hit a 32-yard field goal for Jacksonville, and that would give them the lead once again, this time 13-10 over the Colts heading into the locker rooms at halftime. Neither team would score in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, about 2.5 minutes in, Adam Vinatieri hit a 32-yard field goal to tie this game back up, this time at 13 apiece. And so the game remained tied, and in the closing moments of regulation, Myers had a chance to win this game for Jacksonville, but he missed the field goal, and he actually missed it twice, as there was a timeout called by the Colts right before he missed it the first time, and then he missed it a second time, both times wide right. The first time more wide right, the second time it was close, but still he missed it. So he went to overtime. Both teams got possession of the ball, and the first time they each possessed the ball, they would punt the ball to the other team. Jacksonville first punting it to the Colts. The Colts they punted it back to Jacksonville. Jacksonville then got a chance to go for a field goal, and Myers, with a second chance to win this game, misses the field goal. So now the Colts would get the ball back, and they would go 53 yards in 6 plays, setting up a 27-yard field goal attempt for Adam Vinatieri, and he comes through clutch as he wins the game with a field goal, as he has done many times before. He's done it in Super Bowls more than once, and here he gets the Colts the win in Week 4 in 2015 with the final score Indianapolis 16, Jacksonville 13, off the foot of Vinatieri, who comes through big time for the Colts. Of course, Myers was the dog. He's definitely in the doghouse. You wonder if he'll have a job next week after that kicking performance. But I mean, I couldn't have kicked the 50 whatever field goal. So let's look at the stats though for both quarterbacks. Hasselbeck 30 for 47, 282. Through the air, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, did a good job protecting the ball. Blake Bortles as well, 28 for 50, 298, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. TJ Yeldon, the rookie from Bama, 22 carries, 105 yards for the Jags. Frank Gore, 17 carries for 53 yards for the Colts. Allen Hurns had 11 receptions for 116 yards and a touchdown for Jacksonville. Robinson, 4 receptions for 80 yards. Lewis, 5 receptions for 40 yards. Harbor, 4 receptions for 31 yards. And for the Colts, Coby Fleener, 9 receptions for 83 yards. Moncrief, 6 receptions for 75 yards. T.Y. Hilton, 7 receptions for 67 yards. Gore had 5 receptions for 34 yards to go along with his 53 yards rushing, which gave him a total of 87 yards in this game. And we look at the kicking. Adam Vinatieri, 3 for 3 on the field goals, 1 for 1 on the extra points. Myers just 2 for 4, missing those 2 potential game winners, and then 1 for 1 on the extra points. And Quell Jackson, 10 tackles in this game for the Colts. Butler had 6 tackles and a forced fumble. Langford had a sack for the Colts. And for the Jags, Cyprian, coming off an injury, 11 tackles in this game. Colvin had a sack. Smith had a half a sack. Davis 1.5 sacks. Scuda had an interception, or a forced fumble rather. Evans had a forced fumble. Davis had a forced fumble. And we look at the first downs. 22 for the Colts, 21 for the Jags. Both teams converted 7 third downs. As the Colts were 7 of 15 for a 46% conversion rate, and the Jags 7 of 18 for 38% conversion rate on third downs. Total net yards 431 for Jacksonville, 326 for Indianapolis. Net rushing 142 for the Jags, 60 for the Colts. Net passing yards 289 for Jacksonville. Bortles was sacked once for a 9-yard loss. And for the Colts, 266 net passing yards, as Hasselbeck was sacked 3 times for a total of 16 yards lost. We look at the penalties. 13 penalties for Jacksonville, as they were penalized 92 yards, as they really shot themselves in the foot in this game, as they had a lot of opportunities to win this one, and that was really a key factor in a game that went to overtime, having those 13 penalties coming at costly moments, and the Colts only 4 penalties versus 13. 9 more penalties for the Jags. Just 45 yards penalized for the Colts. And Jacksonville, they did fumble it 3 times, although they did not lose it, and yet they recovered every time, whereas the Colts fumbled 3 times and lost it twice. Let me look at the red zone. Both teams struggled. 1 for 4 for Indianapolis, just 25%. 1 for 3 for Jacksonville, just 33%. The Jags had the ball 36 minutes and 10 seconds, 34 minutes and 14 seconds for the Colts. Of course, they played an extra 10 minutes plus, about 10 and a half minutes in overtime. So it was, very low-scoring defensive battle. Of course, Andrew Luck not out there, is injured. But the Colts get the win. They even up their record at 2-2. A big win for them there in the AFC South, as they're now in first place in that division at 2-2. Jacksonville 1-3, and so they've got an uphill battle to climb. But of course, it's still anyone's division. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Luck. I would imagine he'll be back soon, but I'm not exactly sure what the prognosis is. It was, a game time decision leading up to the game. It looked like he might play, but then last minute they ended up benching him and having Hasselbeck play, which is probably a better thing, being that they did come out with the win, and it's better for him to actually get the rest and get healthy. So they get the win against a tough team. The Jaguars got a good defense, and they were looking good on the ground. Yeldon was getting those yards on the ground, but those missed field goals, those penalties really haunted them in this game and really hurt them. Is if they could have just, not gotten those penalty yards, and if they could have made one of those field goals. They had a couple opportunities, even, in the fourth quarter there. They shot themselves in the foot, and then the missed field goal, even he missed it twice. He had 2 opportunities, and then, of course, in overtime as well, missing, and then the Colts come back. Vinatieri, he does not miss. He's one of the most sure-footed kickers in the history of the NFL. I would say Adam Vinatieri, without a doubt, is a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And he showed once again why he is, and he's still doing it even today here in 2015. So, very impressive win for the Colts in a defensive battle, a low-scoring game, as it came down to the kickers, and that was the difference. Of course, as I said, those penalties too. But let me know what you think. Definitely interested in your thoughts and opinions. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.